it was a very interesting column that Woody Page dropped at the Denver Gazette. I have to be careful not to get it mixed with the Colorado Springs Gazette and the Denver Post. So it's like, it's kind of, you got to be careful with your language. But one of the other things that was newsworthy, and I wrote about this today as well at milehighhuddle.com, was, we've heard this, we've guessed this, we've kind of read between some of the lines, but according to Woody Page, George, the ultimate power where the buck stops outside of ownership is Sean Payton. If George Paton wants to make a personnel move, he has to get it approved, quote, by Sean Payton. And so it makes you wonder, okay, if that's the case, some of the tinfoil hat stuff we have talked about in recent months since Payton was hired is, how long will George Paton survive in the job? Could he be like a Brian Zanders from 11 years ago? And after all the work and toil of the draft is done, could he maybe be dispatched after that? I have a take on that, but I want your thoughts.
Well, who says he can't be a Mickey Loomis? No one's really talking about that scenario where it's a general manager that knows how to scout, knows how to acquire talent, is aggressive in building a roster, and he's working hand in hand in doing so with Sean Payton. Sean has talked about so many times since becoming Broncos coach, the relationship and how important it is in the front office between coach and general manager. So the people that want George Paton gone, I think, are being a little impulsive, considering the talent evaluation abilities he can bring to the table, and also having another voice in the room, not just putting it all on Sean Payton, letting the coach and cook with the groceries, not have to buy them as well.
If I'm Sean Payton and I at least respect George Paton's ability to do his job, even if I'm the most power hungry, ambitious head coach under the sun, why would I want to make my job more difficult, even if I have final say?
Exactly.
I want to be able to just focus on the coaching aspect. And then when it comes time for those critical decisions, who we sign, who we draft, let George Paton do all that grind. That's a 9 to 5, 365, if not more than 9 to 5. But that's a grind. That's an 8-hour plus grind, 365 days a year. Let George do that. And I'll still have my cake and eat it too. I'll focus on my coaching. I'll do my thing, get this team out of the doldrums, and still, Zach, curate who comes and goes from the roster. Right? I still have that final say. Makes perfect sense so long as he is getting along with George Paton, and so long as, it's not just a matter, Zach, of chemistry and getting along like he did with Mickey Loomis in New Orleans all those years, but also, are you sharing a brain? Do you trust his insight? Do you trust his discernment? Etc.
And so long as they win, I mean, no one's going to care, and they're not going to certainly care about having a title or having some sort of power struggle if the Broncos are finally back on the right track. But it's also naive to think if the Broncos went out and courted Sean Payton the way they did, handed him $18 million a year, traded a first and second round pick, and we thought he wasn't going to have final say. We thought he wasn't going to step on George Paton's toes. And listen, even in a worst case scenario where George Paton is marginalized to a talent evaluator, he's a hell of a talent evaluator that I'd rather have inside the building than outside of it.